This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
Whoa, what? Another video on Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel? Now, VinylicPuma, didn't you say that you were already done? No, I'm not done, and we will not stop until we've highlighted every single horrible gun, weapon, item, and piece of gear in Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. Top 6 worst grenades in Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, starting now. Number 6, the Mega Nade. You know what? I think I made a mistake on this one. You know, the explosion this grenade produces is just super devastating, guys. We're talking legendary amounts of damage right here. So much so, it possibly is even better than the fastball from Borderlands 2. It's truly a rare opportunity to use something that's just so good. As far as Borderlands the pre-sequel is concerned, the Mega Nade is probably the best grenade from both games, guys. It's just truly amazing. The only thing that might actually be better than the Mega Nade is the Midnight Star from Borderlands 2, which is truly the best grenade that was ever made. No lie. Overall, get yourself a Mega Nade. It's just the best grenade in the game. Just make sure you have some adult diapers on you, though. Number 5. The Four Seasons. Every time I think about this grenade, I wish that we had a truly exceptional cryo grenade from Vladov in Borderlands the pre-sequel. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Four Seasons, when you throw it, it randomly acts like one of the 4 different types of grenades that Vladov normally makes. So we're talking about incendiary, corrosive, Tesla, and cryo grenades here. And you know, maybe it's just me, but both the incendiary and corrosive grenades have always felt kind of weak, while the Tesla and cryo grenades are like way better. And if I had to pick between cryo and Teslas, I would definitely choose cryo, as that can actually freeze enemies in place. Now, it's also worth mentioning that the Fire Bee, Pandemic, and Stormfront on their own are better than the Four Seasons, as each has a dedicated element and deals more damage of that specific element. And I guess it's cool to have this like pan-elemental thing going on with your grenade, but honestly, I would rather have something that's consistently reliable and goes above and beyond what the standard non-legendary versions can actually do. So, Gearbox, please kill the Four Seasons for Borderlands 3 and just make a dedicated cryo grenade from Vladov. Number 4, the Rolling Thunder. What a boatload of bias! I fucking hate bolt actions, guys. It's not the Wild West anymore, and all manufacturers should adopt better designs than fucking bolt actions. If there was one deployment type for grenades, though, that I hated almost as much as bolt actions, it would probably be rubberized deployment. The Rolling Thunder is essentially what would happen if they made a legendary grenade that not only has rubberized deployment all of the time, but its special effect is based on the fact that it has rubberized deployment. How are you even supposed to get the maximum amount of damage benefit from this grenade if it explodes as it's traveling along its trajectory? Normal, superiorly designed grenades explode in a more localized area. So, in other words, good grenades explode where you actually throw them, not while you are throwing them. Definitely a shitty design, and I won't be upset if the Rolling Thunder doesn't appear in Borderlands 3. Number 3. The Contraband skyrocket. Man, this thing literally flies up into the air and explodes. Say what you will about the Rolling Thunder, but how the fuck are you even supposed to hit anything with the Contraband skyrocket grenade? Yeah, sure, I guess you could just jump up into the air and just like throw down, but who the fuck is actually gonna take the time to do that? Not to mention, you risk getting caught in the blast while you're doing that. I guess this would be good up against some airborne enemies, preferably like fleshy ones, but what about airborne enemies with armor? This grenade only comes in fire, so its viability is limited up against certain types of enemies. Honestly, I think all of this is a shame because the Contraband skyrocket grenade has its power scale with your player character's level, a trait that would be cool to see on a lot of weapons in Borderlands 2 in the pre-sequel. In fact, if some of the pearlescent weapons could scale with the player character's level, they would be more viable to trade with your lower level characters to use in some of those earlier difficulties. Number 2, the Snowball. One of the best grenades in Borderlands 2 gets a massive downgrade in Borderlands the pre-sequel. Of course, I'm talking about the fastball from Borderlands 2, not the Midnight Star, although depending on your state of mind, that might actually be a pretty good grenade as well. The Snowball grenade is essentially the same thing as the fastball, however, it lacks much of the stopping power that made the fastball great. The other thing that hurts the Snowball is that you can tell by the name, it only comes in cryo element. So instead of getting the massive damage boost that this thing could get from hitting a frozen enemy if it were explosive, you just deal more cryo damage. And unlike the fastball, it can't come in all elements, which would have also increased its effectiveness. You have the option between this and the mining laser, which is a triple projectile railgun laser, by the way. So I think you know what the right choice is. Number 1, the Midnight Star. Back in the worst design video, I talked about how this grenade was awful. While I said this grenade was great earlier, I was joking. Hopefully you picked up on that. Anyway, even the red text is an admission from the developers for the Captain Scarlet DLC that the Midnight Star was literally a piece of shit. What this thing does is when you throw the grenade, like a normal MIRV grenade, it explodes. However, the child grenades literally fly across the map and directly towards the player. As you can imagine, this limits the viability of this grenade. What a pile of fuck. It's possibly the worst grenade in Borderlands 2. And you know, fortunately, Borderlands the pre-sequel doesn't have any piles of fuck that are quite this bad. And you know, this thing just doesn't have any use whatsoever, which is possibly one of the reasons why it is almost never discussed by the player base at all. This grenade is bad enough to lower review scores. Let that sink in. Anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. You like this video, please be sure to leave a like, and as always, take care, and I'll see y'all next time.